feel like leading up to that, I haven't shared much of my story, and I've had lots of funny things like happen to me, like even like sad things, and I just think it's a great way because we all go through rejection, we all go through going to the toilet, like maybe having a number two, like everyone does. It's the number one place if you're looking to move forward faster in your career. So today I've got a special guest. Boom, boom, shake the room. This is the job. They're so happy. You know, this is the best thing since like sliced bread. You know, how was your first day? It was amazing. How was your first week? It was brilliant. How was your first month? Yeah, it's good. It's good. All right. How about the second month? Yeah, it's not bad. It's not bad. The third month? Yeah, I'm not sure if this is the problem, the obstacle, or the challenge better than the client, then they're going to assume that you know the solution. So I'm going to repeat that because I was just spitting fire and someone's going to need to call the emergency. Value, and we are going to absolutely be spitting fire. People can see and they can feel if you're not certain and you're trying to close someone, you're trying to pitch and you're talking about your irresistible offer and you're not certain about that, they can Hey, super legends, superheroes, and superstars. Welcome to another episode of the Hot Hire Podcast. We are live on YouTube, live on Facebook, and live on LinkedIn. And do you know what? Say Merry Christmas. How quick has this year gone? It's been incredible. So I want to say a big massive welcome to one of my favorite people in the world, my best friends, my housemate, and people actually think we're dating. So we are not dating, are we? We're not dating. So a massive welcome to Jennifer Lee.
Thank you for the introduction, as always.
You are so welcome. All right, so today we're going to be talking, actually, before I get into that, please, guys, let me know where you are tuned in from, like around the world. If you're watching the replay, please put #replay. If you've got any questions, we're going to be talking around relationships, being triggered, spirituality, and the journey of self-discovery. So this is something that this year has really sort of come to light for me. So Jen, do you want to tell us a little bit about yourself?
A little bit about myself.
And what you do?
I've been on a 2-year journey. Been going on longer than 2 years, but where I actually started energy healing was 2 years ago, as you know. Road to discovery, inner work, a lot of inner work, unexpected, a lot of surprises throughout that journey, and anyone that's in self-development would understand what I'm sort of talking about, and it's not easy to go through a road to discovery and be better than you currently are. So I found a way to use physical tools and techniques that have been provided by this worldwide, Tony Robbins, Joe Dispenza, Tom Bilyeu, and interviews millions of people. Maybe that's an exaggeration. Maybe not. I don't know. Anyway, sorry, Tom. I love you, Tom. And I've used all of those tools and techniques and combined them with energy healing as a way to accelerate person to their road to discovery. Coming from a really deep, dark black hole, and in and out over my lifetime, but mostly 2 years ago, actually, when energy found me. So finding authenticity, finding who I truly am and who I want to be, and no longer feeling that judgment of myself, because at the end of the day, it starts with us. It starts with how we feel about ourselves while we're by ourselves. Thanks, Tom. And how we feel about ourselves is how we project to others. So I've had to learn and understand why I project, why I act the way I do, And sometimes you don't even know. Sometimes you don't. So is that a good answer?
Yeah, no, that is awesome. Right, so before we get deep, I want to say, like a couple of days ago, I thought you were being attacked. So a couple of days ago, I could hear, I don't know, it sounded like screaming, and I was like, I ran out of the room, I was like this. I was like, Jen, are you okay? And she was stood here. She was like, yeah, Dre, what's wrong? And she was like, I was just singing. But I thought she was being attacked, but she was just singing. All right, let's get deep. So we've had like a massive year. So for me, it's been a year of me understanding the relationship with women, and also how that ties in with my mum. So for you entered 2021 breaking up from a relationship. Do you want to tell us about that?
So we were on the verge of breaking up, and much to, I guess, at the time, much to my inability to actually want to, but also discovering why I was in that relationship in the first place, and avoiding, still avoiding. I took on energy healing, unknown at the time, and I used it as a form of avoiding, actually. So I worked on everybody else. Although I was working on myself, I still was avoiding what was really going on. And anyway, yes, we were starting to break up. And
not us. We weren't breaking up. So
a few months fast forward, and we're still. And most people that break up, you may understand, you go back, or you don't really break up. You kind of half break up, or so we're kind of still doing the back and forth. And then one morning at 3:30 in the morning, I received a text from a woman who apparently was having an affair with him.
Oh, that must have hurt. That must have been.
It really. I'd done a lot of work on myself, so I didn't think it would affect me as much as it did. However, what I did discover later was that I was still grieving the infidelity in my marriage, though before my marriage. But
okay.
So if you don't resolve, if you don't process traumatic events that have happened in your life, if something else happens and triggers it, you usually have to resolve and process all of it, not just because as you know, triggers don't happen because of that moment. The trigger is just a indirect reflection of what's happened in the past. So triggers aren't happening now. Yeah. It's just a reflection of what's happened in the past. So 3:30 in the morning, received a text, and in amongst that, I was in Melbourne and was with my grandma who's got Alzheimer's, and so there's a lot of stuff going on at that time. And from that point, it was something I never expected to do. And although I don't think I've really ever processed a breakup properly.
Do you mean any breakup, or just your marriage?
I've processed a little bit, but then you find somebody else and you go, oh, there we go, we're good now. And people will avoid processing what's actually going on or what's happened in that previous relationship. Not looking at what you learned, not looking at what you did wrong, or not necessarily wrong, what you did to contribute to that, what they did to contribute to that, what were your needs, what were you actually needing in that relationship, and then going, okay, so that didn't work, let's change it. The thing is, we just jump into a new relationship and we avoid it really and let it go. So I had to grieve. I actually allowed myself to actually process that completely, and then I had to dissect the rest of my relationships as well. So
okay, and where are you now compared to where you were?
Where am I now? For the first time in my life, I actually have a relationship with myself. I actually enjoy my company. I am dating on and off. I'm not
on and off, yeah.
On and off. It's been
All right. So where does someone start? So say someone's just come out of a traumatic relationship, they're grieving. Like, what is that process? What would be, like the steps to overcome that? Or
Well, see, at the moment, and because because I'm my first client, and as you know, I've been the challenge for me has been, who do I want to work with? And throughout the growth and business, people tell you need to find that niche. Who are you excited to work with? And for me at the start, I wanted to help everyone because I can. Because energy is no boundaries; it's infinite. And you got a physical pain, you've got an emotional, traumatic event that you want to get over. I can help with that. Yeah. So for me, it's been drilling down on who I get excited. And only 2 weeks ago, as you know, kind of got smacked in the face with it. Boom. Where I discovered that all my clients that I've been working with we're all working on relationships, not just intimate, business relationships, friendships, family. Relationships are relationship. And for me, I've done so much work on it. I've done so many courses, so many listening to so many podcasts. And I've forgotten your question. I think I've just ranted.
No, that's all right. That's right. You keep going.
So I've just only recently discovered that I'm actually excited about all of this because I can pick, and I'm still working on myself. I think it's going to be a forever thing. However, I now have worked out, like, it's the relationship with yourself. That's what you need to get before you even consider going into another relationship.
Okay, and that relationship with yourself, is that just finding things that you enjoy doing by yourself? So, like, for instance, like maybe DJing, for instance, maybe like ice skating, going to the movies, taking yourself out,
dating yourself.
Is it
masticating? Is that
Excuse
the word?
me?
Masticating.
Okay, she said masticating, not masticating. Okay, all right.
I used to have a friend who used to say, I'm masticating. I'm like, what is masticating?
Wow,
because I used to envy people that would go out on their own. Yeah. The thing, I guess my edge is that I hear a lot of people say, I needed to be single for 4 years. I needed to be single for 2 years, or I never want to get in a relationship again.
Yeah.
And that's because our body is 99% subconscious, and it retains everything that you felt, seen, heard, smelt. And so we hold on to that. Time, in my opinion, that's my opinion only, does not heal.
Ooh, okay. Okay, all right.
We still revert. Like, you've got anniversaries, you've got moments that you could. I was in Woolworths and I just broke down in tears. Why? Because it reminded me of what we used to do in Woolworths. Not because I was thinking about him, not because I wanted to think about him. Mm-hmm. My subconscious took me back there and went boom. And I was like.
And is that because you hadn't resolved it? Is that?
No, I don't think it's about resolving. It's about the fact that we hold on to it, and Joe Dispenza says it very well, is that we revert back to our old self.
In that moment.
And you're no longer present. So having the edge with energy, it's about extracting all of those emotions. So therefore you can look at that picture and no longer have an attachment to that picture or that thought or that belief. And we remove that. And I guess for me, understanding that I can do that, and I've done it for myself. I'm my very first client. And at the moment, I'm actually going through a case at the moment where it's an intensive, and never done this before, an intensive 14-day program on someone that was in a 9-year relationship, has been, grieving on and off, but utilizing external outside of him to fulfill a need, but hadn't actually gotten over that person. So it's an intensive and full on. However, I'm looking forward to the end of experience. We're midway.
Okay, that sounds like really, really intense.
well, if this works, you could take a breakup and resolve what's going on inside you within, let's say, months, because I took myself from where I was in, let's say, April, and by September, I was no longer going back there. I no longer wanted to be that with that person, even though, and that's the other discovery is, why do we want to be with somebody that doesn't want to be with us? That's my biggest question. Why do we still give our power away to somebody else that doesn't want us, or has made it very clear with their actions, words, that they don't want to be with us, and yet we still pine over that person?
And have you got an answer for that, or are you still finding?
I'm still playing with that.
Yeah. So I reckon it just comes down to like us wanting to be loved and us not being good enough, because we all want to be good enough for that person. Unfortunately,
it's a bit more complicated than that. Okay. So interestingly enough, just this morning I had a bit of a meditation, and what came up for me was a inherited belief. And now I've had this there's about 225 generations in my family, my mum's side, and I've pulled out a lot of stuff about relationships. And it was a belief that I need to be loved. And what does that mean? That's so general.
All right, so let me just stop you there. So for anyone that is watching, so I don't completely understand everything about the energy, the vibrations, but a lot of people that I'm attracted to recently, actually, just for the last, like yourself, like the chick that I'm seeing.
But we're not dating.
the chick that I'm seeing, like just other people. Everyone's a little bit woo-woo, and when I say woo-woo, I mean spiritual. So for someone that is watching now and was like, okay, what are these two like talking about? Can you because some people might listen to the 200 years of generations going back and having that belief, and that's going to be hard for some people to comprehend. They might think that we're probably on drugs.
Yes. Okay. So programming. So people will talk about this in layman terms as programming, and don't actually get into depth as to what that programming means. But programming is essentially being drilled into your, let's say, DNA. Like, I'm talking off my own thoughts here, and please, this is a disclaimer that I don't have a science degree or anything like that, but it's how I understand it and how I've worked with it is that we are programmed a certain way, and it's drilled in our energy field, our aura, or let's say DNA for those. And we take away, it might sit dormant in us. It could sit there and it never gets activated until one day you experience something, and then boom, all of these sicknesses that were in dormant all of a sudden become active. And it's from generations before you. So I'm not sure what this woman did, or what happened in my generations, 225 generations ago. But it must have been a very, very traumatic time for her, because it was all based on relationships. And if you look at your mum, grandma, and if you've got children, they could be similar in terms of how they grow up, the relationships they have, and who they attract. And it's all unknowns and you don't even know until you start quietening that mind and meditating. We just do. So you won't actually understand until you start to get a little bit more awareness, consciousness of what's happening. And like I said, I only sat for 5 minutes and it came up, and I'm like, that's interesting.
All right. So, like, say for instance, if I'm gonna have kids, like say like in the next couple of years, and excuse my language, there's like some shit that I haven't sorted out. That shit potentially is going to be passed down to my kids, and that's going to be something that they might have to deal with, but they're going to be unaware.
Correct. So potentially. So when I've worked on people, I've worked on their children indirectly. So I work through them. So if I release something from you and you've got a child and they've inherited it, then it comes out of you, comes out of the child, comes out of anyone that you inherited from, so generations. So it's a big thing. And I had a client who had challenges with her son, and also your reflection back at, so mirrors, right?
Yes.
We get triggered about something in somebody else that we don't like about ourselves, or we need to resolve, or something, and that is an indication of what's going on inside you. So that's where families will always have those butt heads, because they're very similar and they have the same sort of traits. I worked on a father and daughter, 12-year-old daughter, who was having challenges at school, and the father had quite a lot of anger. And when I worked on the child, not on him, and I worked on him indirectly through the child. And after, I think it was just one session, I removed what she inherited from him, and what she created was, my dad doesn't love me, because he, in her eyes, would prefer to work on a weekend than help her with her algebra.
Wow, okay.
And so removing those inherited, they have an amazing relationship now. And her schooling, just her grades increased substantially. And she's like, I think 12. So, and I get told that a lot. I still get updates from him and things like that. So it's a direct reflection and a mirror of what's going on internally. And
I love that. All right. So the way that you get rid of it, so you use different modalities?
Yeah. So originally I read a book called Motion Code. So it's by Dr. Bradley Nelson. It's $14. He teaches you how to muscle test. So I use a form of kinesiology to muscle test myself. And I go in as a proxy. And so I can tune into your subconscious and ask you questions. We've done this many times, haven't we?
Yes, we have.
We've dicked around with this.
Don't go to Bali.
Told ya.
Should listen. Yeah.
You did listen. You didn't go.
Yeah, but I've bought the visas and everything.
Yeah, well,
Okay. Anyway, all right.
That's the incongruency between our conscious and our subconscious, and that's the interesting.
Deep down inside, I really didn't want to go.
Exactly, but your conscious is like your ego is like, no, I'm going to.
Yeah.
Fuck you, Jen.
It wasn't that. Yeah.
It really was. So yeah, Motion Code, and anyone can learn this. It's easy. It's an easy technique to release your own trapped emotions, and that's where I started. And then Reiki came in, and then the next practitioner course was Body Code. So that's more in depth about your pathogens, your toxins, in your organs, your glands, everything to do with the body, and where trapped energies will store themselves for whatever particular reason. So I've learned through myself and through my clients on what's going on with that client, and then discovering that there's all these, we're complicated humans. We're very complicated, but there's always, like you said, there's always a pattern in us all, and the love and the not being good enough. And it will stem down from how you received or what you didn't get from your parents. However, it's not always about your childhood, because we all have a choice now, right? I just help it. Personal development. I was always reverting back.
Yeah.
Using energy helped me revert less and less and less, so I no longer stay in that emotional negative state as long as I ever used to. And I went from days in bed to, depending on, I mean, you've seen me. I can break down in tears just in a second, depending on what's occurring. And not for just that. It's not just all bad. It's discovering how far I've come as well. Because 18 months ago, I couldn't do this.
Yeah. Lucky now.
Yeah. I'd be reading off a piece of paper, and I'd be,
Right now, it's like, oh, let me do a live. I'm going to do a live, guys. Right, I'm in the group. I'm going to do a live. Yeah, it takes too much time. I'm not going to do a live. I'm not going to write it. I'm going to do a live. Here's my win for the week. Here's my win.
But I'm still behind closed doors in some aspects. So I've had to learn or discover who I actually want to be and how I want to show up. And in my real life, and I would say real life, and in social media, because I want to be the same. I want to be congruent no matter how. So I guess that was a challenge for me to discover that aspect.
Right.
And I'm a perfectionist.
All right, so I'm just a bit conscious of time. We've probably got about 5 minutes to go. So can we do a sway test? Can you teach people how to do like a sway test?
Of course.
So, do you just want to explain what a sway test is, and then we'll both
We'll both do it. Okay. So sway test is the first point of call for learning muscle testing, because sway test is the most simplest and easy for people to just go, oh shit, that actually I did move forward or I did move back. So you can talk to your subconscious. And so the easiest form, and you need to be hydrated. And if you've never done this before, give it some time. Don't go, oh, it didn't work. I've taught my dad this. So if my dad can do it, anyone can do it. And he was quite surprised, going, ooh, that's cool. Yeah. Anyway. Usually we start with my name. So, or in some aspect, something positive. So if I say love, 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 I didn't move forward. So
you didn't move forward?
No, sorry, I did move forward.
I was like,
I fucked that up.
Okay.
Yeah. What we want to achieve, I'm just trying to think of choose your words, Jen. What we want to achieve is if it's a positive answer, we want to fall forward. If it's a negative response, we want to fall back. Now, it's like I said, be hydrated. Hang on, let's get hydrated, shall we?
Water break.
I'm dehydrated from the gym.
Okay. Who's Jim? Okay. Sorry, back on.
So I'm gonna go side on. Yeah. Okay. So relax. Just feet width apart, hip width apart. Yep. And if I go, my name is Jen, my name is Jen, my name is Jen, and I automatically fall forward. Yep. Now, if I said my name is Dre, I didn't even get a chance.
It sounds like you don't want to be Dre. Not offended. Yeah.
No, I don't want to be. Don't worry. I like you, but not that much. Okay. So if you say my name again, your name, not my name, your name, eventually you're going to go forward. But another alternative, if that's not working, then you can just think of happy thoughts. So think of love, 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 and I go forward. But if I go hate, 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 my body wants to reject it. So
you can ask questions. So you can ask questions to your subconscious.
So you can ask questions. So on discoverhealing.com's website, Dr. Bradley Nelson, he has a kit that you can download, and you can download the emotion code, emotions, 60 negative emotions. It's got 2 columns, rows. And so you can use that and go through the process, because it gives you step-by-step instructions going, is there a trapped emotion I can release today? Oh, and there isn't for me. Lucky me. That's a first. If you release 1 trapped emotion a day, just 1, you will less and less revert to that negative emotion. So let's say, for instance, anger. If you keep releasing or coming up with anger, then I guarantee you've got a massive amount of trapped emotions in your body. Okay. And we can trap at least 1 a day. So 365 days a year over your lifetime, that's thousands, right? Paintball machine, thinking splat, 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 splat. Mm-hmm. So if I'm going to tune into Dre. Okay. So my name is Dre. 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 Okay. So my name is Dre. So I'm going to say, is there a trapped emotion I can release for Dre today? So there is.
Oh, okay. All right.
There is. Let's just. I'm just gonna go to my app.
Okay, let's not do this.
Okay, and then we're gonna say, what chapter motion do I need to release for Dre today? Is it from column A? No, it's from column B. Yep. Is it odd number row? No, it's an even number. Yep. So is it B2? Oh, it's B2. So in B2 we have.
I was ready for this.
We have failure, hopelessness, helplessness, lack of control, and low self-esteem. So which emotion do I need to release today? Is it failure? Ooh, you have a trapped emotion of failure to release.
That is true.
Yeah. Do you want to know what age?
Yeah, let's do it. Yeah.
Okay, what age was it created? I'm not going to do this three test. What age was it created? Before the age of 40, before the age of 30, before the age of 20, before the age of 10, before the age of 9. Age of 9. So you have a trapped emotion of failure that was created at the age of 9. So most people has no idea what happened at the age of 9. So it's not necessary to really ask unless the subconscious says, and it isn't. So I'm just going to go ahead. Is it okay if I release that trapped emotion of failure from, there we go, sway test, my intention. So some people can start with a magnet.
Wasn't expecting this today.
Just a fridge magnet. I don't use a fridge magnet anymore, but and you just go, my intention is to release the trapped emotion of failure, and doing 3 swipes. Oh, there we go. I get tingles sometimes.
Okay.
And then if you want to just double check, did I release the trapped emotion of failure? I did. So then next, and just repeat the process until such time as your subconscious says there's nothing left to release today.
So that is really interesting. So the last few days, I've set myself a massive goal for January, February of next year, which is huge. And I've been going through a bit of self-doubt and the consequences of if I hit the goal and the consequences if I don't, and it's all to do with failure. Okay. So that's just really interesting that's come up. All right. So if people want to get hold of you, what is the best way to do that if they want to work with you? And
there's a few different platforms that you can get me on. I do have Uniquely Healing in Facebook. Mm-hmm. I also have Uniquely Healing in Instagram, so uniquely_healing. You can contact me via my personal page, which is Jennifer Lee. Or I do have a public page, which is also Jennifer Lee. Or you can send me an email, jen@uniquelyhealing.com, or give me a call. So give that number? No.
It's up to you.
044 888 1535.
Cool. Awesome. And I know that I've got some of your contact details like your Facebook and your Insta and your website in the notes. All right. Very last question.
Ooh, and website.
And the website, yeah.
www.uniquelyhealing.com. And can I just say?
Yes, you can.
Nearly 10 months ago, I went into a challenge that I was meant to, part of that challenge, I was to write an ebook. And little did I know what that actually entailed, because I put it out there that I was going to write an ebook on triggers. Mm-hmm. And recently I finalized that ebook. So if you're interested in 3 steps on managing your triggers, you can go to my website and request it. Or you can send me a message on Facebook and I will send it to you for free. There's no obligations. You don't have to sign up to my website or subscriptions or anything like that. So if you do want it and you don't want to go to my website, send me a message and I'll flick it to you.
Love that. All right. So very last question. Is there something that you'd like to leave the audience with? So whether that's a dad joke, a quote, or just anything at all.
Geez, I forgot about your dad jokes. I've got no dad jokes. I guess I was listening to Joe Dispenza this morning, and the question was, what impact do you want to make on the world? And I started to think about it, and as you know, I've been going through all this. What's my mission? What do I want to do? How do I want to help people? And it's discovering, it's letting people know that everything is possible. Your emotional state is just temporary, whether it's happy, whether it's sad, whether it's not. But if you're suppressing it, that's a problem. You suppress any emotion, you're suppressing the positive, and you're going to suppress the negative. And one way or another, your emotions are going to come out in a negative or a positive way. So what I am, and my statement these days is, I am empowering the world to recognize, relax, and release negative energy. And it is all about connecting to yourself to discover that there is so much more. And no one, it's not, excuse my friend, it's not fucking easy discovering yourself. It's not fucking easy to figure out all the bullshit that's been sitting inside you that you want to get rid of, or you want to be a person or better person, or you want to be a certain person. But no one has ever turned around and said, it fucking wasn't worth it. So everything is worth going through that emotional pain, because it's only temporary.
Somebody call MC Hammer, because you just nailed it, Jen. So really, I want to say like a massive thank you to you, because we basically decided yesterday, we were like, we're going to do a podcast. We're like, yeah, okay, what we're going to do.
Oh yeah, only 4 p.m. yesterday I got told, and I wasn't well yesterday.
So yeah, just want to say like thank you from the bottom of my heart for this, but also inviting me into your home. Also who you are as a person, the support, the guidance, like the love, and just everything from like the past year. That's amazing. Right, guys. Yeah. Merry Christmas.
Oh, yeah, Merry Christmas.
Yeah, have a good Christmas. We are